Hey everybody, Chris Dunn here. This is your Bitcoin trade review for Wednesday, December 18th, and I want to cover the trade that I was up till 4 in the morning last night making. And as a lot of you guys that have been following me on Twitter and Facebook know, I'm now 3 for 3 on my calls for trading Bitcoin, and I'm going to go over what's going on in Bitcoin. There's a lot of people making a lot of money, and there's a lot of people losing their ass. And I've been doing just this series on Bitcoin because as a professional day trader, I want to help everybody who's new to the trading world understand how not to get run over, because there's a ton of opportunity in Bitcoin right now, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're really going to lose a lot of money. And so make sure to click the link above my head to subscribe to the channel, because I have a lot of really good videos in the pipeline just showing you how to day trade, how to manage money, and how to build wealth, because that's my motto: build wealth, live well, and give back. And this is just my way of giving back to the Bitcoin community that has helped me make money in the space. And so let's go ahead and dive right in. So in the last video, I reviewed these trades where I had the long that made about 35% on Bitcoin, and then the short that I didn't get into, but I called a short here at 900 that fell quite a bit, as you can see. And then last night, I was actually live tweeting this. I was looking at the panic. So yesterday there was more China news, and I feel like China is a pretty major part of the reason why Bitcoin has shot above 1,000. So if we look at a daily chart here, you'll notice that back in the early part of November, Bitcoin went from about 200 to over 1,200, and then has crashed well over half of that in just a couple of weeks. So and I think, again, the reason for that is speculation. You have a lot of people that are just chasing this high, which has created a quote-unquote bubble. And we'll talk about that more in a second, if Bitcoin really is a bubble or if this is a good investment. And then as China has been fighting Bitcoin, saying, look, you can't, banks can't mess with Bitcoin, and you have bigger companies like the search engine Baidu says they're not going to accept Bitcoin as payment. Anytime something like that happens, we're getting massive swings in the market. We're seeing swings of 30, 40%. And that's grounds for a very risky market to trade. If you're trading stocks or futures, you don't see 20, 30, 40% swings every day. So this is it's a very easy market for me to trade because there's a lot of emotion and a lot of dumb money in the market. But I just want to help you kind of learn how not to think like the herd or the masses, because in any financial market, be it the stock market, real estate, or now Bitcoin, and even gold. Back in 2011, everybody was buying up gold at the all-time highs, and I was telling people, no, stop, don't buy here, wait for a pullback. And anytime you have that happen, over 90% of people lose money. And so how am I 3 for 3 now on my predictions and on my trades here in Bitcoin? It's because I understand mass human psychology, and so I just want to show you what's happening. So and go back and watch this video. Let's cut to a clip where I predicted this big crash that we had last night. I think there is more downside here. I'm not looking to just buy this like I bought this last dip. I think we're going to go for a fib extended move, and I'm looking really the next level is 400s. And I know not a lot of people want to hear that. All right, so there you have it. That was the clip from a couple of days ago after we hit our target on this short setup. And what I was telling people is, look, I'm not going to buy right in here. I'm looking for a crash down to the 400 to 450 mark. And look what happened. Last night, we tagged 400 to the T. Like, we got a little bit below it, but you can see that we didn't get any price action that actually closed below it. Let me kind of blow this up so you can see this was last night, came down and got a lot of price action around 405 up to 450, and I was actually longing down in this level. And you can see here I was live tweeting this, starting at about 1:50 in the morning. So I had some alerts going off that actually woke me up, and I said, look, Bitcoin's crashing. I need to really watch this because this could be a huge move. And so I said, look, Bitcoin's crashing right now. I'm looking to buy some in the low 500s, and it looks like we might hit my target of 400 to 450. sooner than I thought. You know, I was talking, today's Wednesday, on Monday, so 2 days ago, I was saying, look, we're going to make it to 400 or 450. I am pretty certain of that. However, I don't know the timeline. You know, it could be the next day. It could be a month from now. And, you know, with all the emotion and the volatility and the China news that happened yesterday, that kind of helped things get there. And, you know, I've had some haters on, you know, I've been trying to help people on Reddit, because Reddit has a huge Bitcoin community, and unfortunately it's a lot of people that are just speculators or maybe mined Bitcoins early, and so they're holding Bitcoins at a very low average price, but they don't understand the market, and they say, oh, you're just getting lucky on these calls, it's pure luck. No, it's my understanding of human psychology and how markets move. It doesn't matter if it's the stock market or Bitcoin or real estate or you know, pig bellies or coffee. I understand how the masses think, and it's very easy to look at these levels for me. And so the whole reason why I'm doing these videos is just to help people to, number one, not make emotional or stupid trading decisions. You know, I get probably 20 or 30 emails a day right now from people saying, look, I bought at the top, what should I do? And my response is always the same. Never be a bag holder. You know, if you need money, if you're trading with money that you can't afford to lose, get the hell out and don't worry about what happens. You know, you have to be a smart investor. So that's kind of my little rant, guys. I'm just so passionate about this. I really want to help people. And so let's go back to last night's trade. So Bitcoin was crashing, and I started to get a fill here around the 520s. So I was actually buying into the panic. I could see people panicking. You know, I knew Asia was up and everybody was, you know, freaking out over there, and China, and they were just dumping like crazy. And I said, okay, look, I'm going to start to scale in around the 500s, but this could go a lot lower before it breaks back up above the all-time highs. So here I am buying, I'm doing the opposite of what the herd does. And a lot of times it's the contrarians in the market that make the money. People that follow the herd and go with what's popular in the market, that's why most people lose. So as people are panicking, I'm buying, right? I see the panic, I'm going to trade against that, and I'm not trying to pick the bottom. I'm not saying, look, I'm buying at 500 and that's where it's going to bounce. I'm buying at 500 knowing it can go a hell of a lot lower. It's a totally different mentality, guys. You really, to make money in this, you have to flip your thoughts on your head. You have to reprogram the way that you think about this stuff. And I said, look, guys, not to say I told you so, but those who were bashing me when I said not to buy Bitcoin over 1,000, they're really eating their words now. And I hate to make this like a I told you so thing, but I just want to show people that I do know what I'm talking about. And please don't make emotional-based investment decisions. Okay, so the crash is partially due to you know, BTC China basically halting the incoming deposits. And anyway, I was up really late, I think until 3 or 4 in the morning. Was able to pick up more Bitcoin. It stabbed below 500 bucks. So let me just kind of show you my chart here. This was Bitcoin last night, okay? And the time is actually a little off on this chart. I'm not sure why, but you can see through the early morning it was panicking, and I started to buy in here through the 520s, and then as it made one more final push, I was able to pick up a few more Bitcoins down here, and then as it popped, you know, my average today, last I checked, was about 502. So I've got a pretty good average, and you can see, you know, let's just round off and say 500. It's almost made it all the way back to 600, guys. 20% in a day, you know, come on. This is what trading is all about, is just understanding how to read the herd. And, you know, some people, I've gotten emails and tweets from some people saying, you know, technical analysis doesn't work. How can it work in Bitcoin? It's not about the technical analysis. It's not about, you know, indicators, MACD, candlesticks. It's not about, you use these tools. You know, I use Fibonacci retracements and extensions to help me with trading decisions. But at the end of the day, it's just about understanding emotion and what people are doing and where the market's going to bounce off key levels. Because I can't predict what the governments are going to do. I can't predict if China is going to accept or try to push Bitcoin away. You know, all I can guarantee you is there are going to be some massive wild swings in Bitcoin over the next year because every time something happens, anytime a government says something about Bitcoin, or anytime a major, search engine or big company or high profile person says something positive or negative about Bitcoin, you get massive swings in the market. Because you have people chasing emotion, right? And that's why everybody's losing money right now, and the professionals are cleaning up. So let me help you become a professional. Let me help you look at this the right way. I have nothing to sell you. I'm just a guy who's trading Bitcoin and wants to help you get on the right side of this trade. So with that said, let's go back to a daily chart and talk about my predictions. So again, I called this crash and rebound. So I bought here and made about 35%. I would have shorted here if I could. I called this crash. And then early last night, I actually bought. You can see this is a big red day. I bought down here, which looks to be like the all-time low for at least the month right now. And again, what I'm doing is I'm doing two things. I'm basically trading pivot to pivot moves, meaning I'm looking to buy against emotion. So when people are panicking, I'm buying, and then scaling out as people chase the market going back up. And then another thing I'm doing is I'm keeping a portion of that, trying to keep my average low for long-term investments, because I do believe in Bitcoin. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid saying that Bitcoin is absolutely going to be adopted by the entire world and the governments are just going to cave in and give way to it. I think there's going to be a battle. I think over the next year or two, or maybe more, you're going to have governments that widely accept it, and you're going to have governments that try to push it away and regulate it and tax it. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And anybody that sounds too confident in their long-term prediction, be very, very wary, because they probably have an ulterior motive. You have a lot of people that just want to talk positive about Bitcoin. That's because they own Bitcoin, probably up here around 1,000. And you have people that are perma bears or very negative on Bitcoin, and that's probably because they don't own any Bitcoin, number one, and they're afraid of Bitcoin, or they don't understand it. So just be very level-headed. Don't be too bullish or bearish. Just try to understand the emotion and make smart decisions for yourself. If you can't afford to invest in Bitcoin, stay out of it. Invest in the stock market. Number one, I think trading stocks and futures are easier from a standpoint of it's safer. You can actually trust the brokers, where the exchanges, Mt. Gox and Coinbase, I've heard horror stories and good stories about, some people not being able to get their money out. I'm not trading through Mt. Gox at all. I don't think they're solvent. I think that's going to just be one big massive crash. But, again, I could be wrong. I'm trading through Coinbase and Bitstamp and looking for some alternatives for shorting that I can trust. And thanks for everybody who's been sending me their recommendations. I am doing my due diligence, and I have my research team also helping me with this. But, just play it smart. Guys, like up the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.